Greetings to all. In this video presentation, we introduce a project undertaken by a group of students and professors from the School of Design at the Politecnico University Grancolombiano in Bogotá, in collaboration with the Colonial Museum, affiliated with the Ministry of Culture of Colombia, and the Arhuaca indigenous community from the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. The Colonial Museum and the Santa Clara Museum, which share the same team, have as their mission the creation of spaces for dialogue around colonial heritage and its relationship with the present, through its protection, research, and dissemination in order to encourage its appropriation among diverse audiences. They are part of the museum's group of the Ministry of Culture of Colombia, and they are located in the city of Bogotá. The vision these museums project in the near future is to become key Ibero-American references for the exhibition and research of colonial heritage, through the collective construction of knowledge and the expression of cultural diversity. To achieve this goal, over the last 15 years, the museum's team has undertaken the task of researching its own collection, which includes pieces of painting, sculpture, furniture, documents, and decorative arts from the Hispanic colonial period, especially from the territory of New Granada. These research efforts have resulted in various publications, temporary exhibitions, and events, which have been made possible through the integration of both academic experts and communities associated with different types of heritage. Disseminating widely the findings they have constructed is a conviction and a fundamental part of the work of these museums. On the other hand, the research group in Design, Artifact, and Society of the School of Design at the Universidad Politecnico Grancolombiano has among its research lines one related to the history of material culture. In this line, a group of faculty researchers promotes the development of applied and formative research projects in which, together with students, they contribute to the construction of knowledge around the artifact, understood as a phenomenon and a source of historical research, from a design perspective. In this convergence of interests in disseminating various versions of the past through design, the alliance between the two entities emerges, framing this specific effort developed during 2023. The objective of this co-creation project was to design a new educational toolkit aimed at showcasing the ancestral knowledge of the Arhuaca community in order to shed light on the stories that have been marginalized throughout history. This approach was proposed by the museum from a decolonial perspective, drawing inspiration from authors such as Arturo Escobar and Enrique Dussel. Consequently, the research creation process was carried out using a participatory design methodology. The first step involved studying the theoretical references provided by the museum, through which the students could recognize that their education had instilled in them a colonialist historical perspective. This realization allowed them to strengthen their commitment to the project through empathy and self-assessment. In the second phase, field research was conducted with various populations in different sectors of the city of Bogotá to understand their perceptions of the colonial period and indigenous Latin American cultures. These approaches led to the conclusion that the majority of young children and adults held a colonialist view of our past, which obscured the diversity of actors who shaped history and their different ways of understanding the world. Thus, the idea of designing a new educational toolkit for the Colonial Museum of Bogotá emerged, focusing on two main lessons: we are all equal, but we are all different, and we cannot change the past, but we can change the future. Thanks to the museum's connections with the Arhuaca community, the central theme of this educational toolkit was the ancestral thinking of the Arhuaco people from the Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta. To ensure the involvement of various stakeholders, a participatory design methodology called Threads of Encounter was conceived, weaving paths between exploration and realization, where different components, namely the didactic elements, evolved. The design process began with brainstorming sessions on educational games that could transmit the worldview and indigenous knowledge identified through research on important aspects of Arhuaca culture, such as their relationship with nature, the pursuit of balance, and textile-based thinking. From the best proposals, continuously refined with feedback from the museum's educational team, functional models were created. These preliminary game models were shared with the museum team and 2 young members of the Arhuaca community. This meeting was crucial for obtaining feedback that led to new prototypes, addressing pedagogical, functional, and technical aspects of each game in detail. Since the Colonial Museum provides its educational toolkits to the entire Colombian territory, its components had to be clear, practical, and durable. Several more models were developed to improve the physical and conceptual structure of each game. After 2 months of work, the initial final prototypes for the educational toolkit design were created. The final testing protocols involved students from city schools to assess information assimilation, information feedback, and motivation and interest in the educational materials. This project had the opportunity to be presented at the RAD Social 2023-1 Academic Design Network meeting held in the city of Pasto. Among the 7 educational designs presented at the event's different sessions, 3 received top honors, as voted by the event participants, including students and educators. In June, the Colonial Museum conducted a 3rd verification protocol in the Sierra Nevada Santa Marta, with the participation and support of the Arhuaca community, to test the knowledge imparted through each of these educational materials, drawing from the wisdom of our elder siblings. The materials were well received by the children of the community, especially by Mamu Arawak Viku, the community's knowledgeable leader, who saw the potential of this product in contributing to the national recognition of their culture. At this moment, Mamu is actively collaborating on the project to refine and reinforce the concepts depicted in each of the educational games, ensuring clear and precise communication to Colombians about the world's creation narratives and the foundational laws of an ancient culture, with significant social and environmental importance for the country and the world. The experience of collaborative work aimed at promoting the recognition of cultural diversity and alternative worldviews coexisting in our country has been profoundly enriching, undoubtedly the main achievement of this project. As of the date of this presentation, the collaborative team from the university, the Colonial Museum, and the Arhuaca community is working on refining the prototypes and instructional materials for the 6 educational games and the containing toolkit, with guidance from a historian and designer expert. The public release is projected for November 2023. Once made available to the public, the suitcase will travel to different rural and urban spaces and institutions throughout the country. In these places, the various games of the Arhuaca Didactic Backpack will teach children, youth, and adults to see the world from the ancestral wisdom of this indigenous people. Thanks to the activation achieved by the promoters through the games, the Colonial Museum will contribute to the recognition of the epistemological diversity that resides in Colombia, and thereby to the construction of dialogues, social equity, and environmental responsibility. Undoubtedly, the Colonial Museum, in its alliance with communities and academia, serves as a model of inclusive work that allows for the recognition and empowerment of those who have been marginalized throughout Colombia's history, yet still reside in their ancestral territories and have much to contribute to the development of social and cultural justice. Among the major insights gained by the team is the understanding that these ancestral oral traditions stem from a cosmic and elemental perspective, linking the body to everything around us, teaching us to respect all things, as they are the source of our existence and the means by which we thrive. Thank you very much.
Politecnico Grancolombiano.